Morning guys. Today we're going to take a look at page 3 of the Unit 9 Classwork packet. And the topic for today is actually a review of something old, specifically the Pythagorean Theorem. But today we're going to look at real-world applications. The reason is, on the end of course exam, they're not just going to test the Pythagorean Theorem and give you the diagram and just say solve. What they're going to do is they're most likely going to ask you to create the diagram using a real-world problem and then solve for a particular side. Okay? So with that being said, let's take a look at example number 10. And of course, my marker is broken. That marker is now officially dead. Okay, let's try that again. Example number 10. Alright, so example 10 says, a roofer leaned a 16-foot ladder against a house. Okay, so I'm obviously going to want to try to draw this, right? So here is my house, and here is a ladder, and I'm going to label that as 16 feet, okay? Now they say the base of the ladder is 5 feet from the house, right? Okay, so base, house, so that means this side is 5. And I'm assuming that the house doesn't lean, right? So we don't want any leaning towers of Pisa. And they asked me, how high up the house does the ladder reach? Okay, so the only remaining side of this triangle would be this. Okay. So with that being said, the only thing you have to do now is identify what you're given. Are you given 2 legs, or are you given a leg and a hypotenuse? In this particular case, you've actually been given a leg and a hypotenuse, and the way I know that is that the 16 is across from the 90. So that means in the Pythagorean theorem, I'm going to plug in for A and C. Let's see how that's going to work. So 5 squared plus B squared equals 16 squared. So that would be my basic equation, guys. Then, working out the math, 25 plus b squared equals 256, right? Subtract 25 from both sides, and I get b squared equals 231. And take the square root, and b is rad 231. Now, on the exam, if they gave you a calculator, you could probably, find what that actually is. We happen to know, actually, that it's got to be between, it's got to be between 15 and 16. And the reason I know that is because 15 squared is 225, and 16 squared is 256, and 231 is in between them. So it's going to be 15 point something, okay? Let's try one more example, and that will be, let's do number 12, okay? Example number 12. All right, so Ashley, hello Ashley. It says that Ashley jogged 3.4 miles east. Okay, so here's Ashley. Hello Ashley. All right, so east, that would be this way to the right, and I'm gonna call that 3.4. And then she jogged 5.7 miles south. So she made a very, very sharp turn and went straight this way. Okay, and they're asking how far is she from her starting point? Okay. So guys, this is actually a pretty easy Pythagorean theorem problem. However, what I want to caution you about is that this is a fair game on the non-calculator section. Let me say that again, guys. That's fair game on something like a non-calculator section. Like, you do need to be able to multiply decimals, right? And in order to be able to solve problems. So let's take a look at how this is going to work. They gave me 2 legs. So the Pythagorean theorem will be pretty simple. Plug in for A and B. Let's make sure you guys remember how to multiply decimals. So I'm going to do 3.4 times 3.4. Okay, 16, 13, 12. Okay. And where do I put the decimal back? Well, there are 2 numbers behind the decimal, so I move it back twice. So I get 11.56. Then for 5.7, let's do the math. 9, 4, 35, 39, 0, 5, 3, 28, 9, 14, 12. And 2 numbers behind the decimal, so I get 32.49. So that means I have 11.56 plus 32.49 equals c squared. Let's actually do some math here and add these together. So 32.49 and 11.56. 9 plus 6 is 15, carry the 1, 0, carry the 1, 3, 4. And so I get 44.05. And take the square root. Okay, so let me actually get my calculator to do that, because even I can't do that kind of square rooting in my head. All right, so if I do rad 44.05 to the square root, I get around 6.64. All right, so this right here is around 6.64. Now, one thing you can always do, right, is check to see if that makes sense. Does that actually make sense in this problem? Yes, it does, because this is the hypotenuse, and each of these are legs, right? And so what do we know about a hypotenuse but that it has to be longer, right, than the other two sides? So in sum, the Pythagorean theorem is pretty simple. It's something we've done before. Be prepared that on an EOC level problem, they will expect you to set up the diagram, and it'll be up to you to figure out whether you're solving for a leg or a hypotenuse.